All right, I guess I need to have to live with that. Oh, here I can do this. Maybe I can do that. Nope, didn't work. All right, where was I? Let's do it like that and figure it out later. Well, hi, Lisa. Good to see you. How you doing? How's your Gutenberg adventure going? So where was I? I was talking about the Gutenberg Times. Yeah, I curate community voices and material around the new visual editor of WordPress, codename Gutenberg. Yeah, I have this. Well, thanks, ASK Design. What's your first name? I forgot. All right. Yeah, I have a slight echo too. I actually have a large echo, but I hope I can kind of tune it out. So the Gutenberg Times is actually sponsored by Pantheon. That's a WordPress and Drupal hosting company where marketers and developers build, host, and manage the most important website. So big thank you to the Pantheon team for supporting my work. So in the chat window now, you can post your questions. I will break this into 4 different sections, and we'll back scroll on the window for your questions. And hang on, I'm just gonna see. I don't have a whole lot of good plan. Oh, look at this. Okay, so just so you can see me all better. So I will break often to back scroll through your chat window and ask your questions or discuss with you whatever comment you will have. But for those who listen to the recording, feel free to put the questions in the comment section here, right there. And for those who listen on the podcast, on demand, send your questions to my email address, which is pauli@gutenbergtimes.com. So it's pauli@gutenbergtimes.com. So this event is called Secrets of Gutenberg for content creators, do-it-yourself site owners, and bloggers. And if you are a developer or designer and you need to get in the nitty-gritty of development, this show is probably not for you. There's a great Gutenberg Live show coming up next week, the Gutenberg News with Joe Casabona and Zach Gordon on September 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern as well. So, so let me see who is here. So with all the different screens, I kind of, all right. So, oh, hi, Anne. Yes, Anne, I got it. Yeah, Anne, hi. How you doing? Are you using local by Flywheel? Oh, yes, I use it, and my demonstrations will be on a local site, so I don't have to worry about more internet traffic that's coming through the pipelines, because I'm already doing this live stream as well as 2 computers and all this kind of thing. So, all right, let's jump in. And what are we going to talking about today? So in the first sections, we talk about the transitions. I have a few tips that kind of make the transition a little bit better between the old editor and Gutenberg. In the second section, I will talk a little bit more about what the new workspace modes are for that came out in 3.8. And in the third sections, I have a few gotchas for you that you might want to keep in mind when you're working with Gutenberg. Some of them are bugs, and all of it are things that developers are working on, but it will, depending on how big the technology complexity is, it will be fixed in future versions. And the fourth section would be talking about how to get started with Gutenberg and make decisions for your site. I will think that most of you haven't switched yet, but who wants to spend time on a software that's not finished when you got other things to do? Yeah. And in between, I will ask your questions and look through the chat window. Okay. So help me edit menus. Well, hi, Gordon. And so we have Anne and Lisa. Gordon, where are you from? I've seen you on Twitter. I think we are very connected there. Yes, right. Saskatoon, Canada. Hi, Carol from the Villa Group. Lisa, Gordon says he needs help with editing menus while running Gutenberg. So you think you feel that the Gutenberg plugin interferes with the core functionality of editing menus, or are you editing menus in a different feature? Right, now I got it. Thanks, Gordon, for catching me up. We meet through N10. Yes. All right. Okay, so the first, well, let's kind of go through this. I find that I'm using the HTML block while some of the issues are being worked on as Gutenberg is evolving. Yes, I found that too, that sometimes you can so it was just, I'm just hesitating because for a quick moment, the echo was gone. So I was kind of rejoicing. Yeah, and but what I like on Gutenberg with the HTML editing is that I can do it just per block. I don't have to put the whole editing screen into the text version. Yeah. So, and yes, local by Firefly really works great to use. Definitely something to recommend if you want to test Gutenberg and not do it on your website. So, who else is there? So maybe, Gordon, we should kind of talk about the menu item. With Gutenberg plugin turned on, there was no way to get a new menu to appear. Okay. Hi, Carol. Well, your question, how does it compare to the Visual Composer, is it's just the beginning. It's probably where Visual Composer was 2 or 3 years ago when it came out. So if you have a theme and if you want to keep using the Visual Composer, you definitely need to wait until the Visual Composer team releases a Gutenberg-ready version. I think they have a few things already tackled. So, and that goes for any page builder that you use. If you have approached Gutenberg from a page building point of view and compare it with the features that those have, ones now. Yeah, Gordon, I'm right now not computing your menu problem because that seems to be, that's a core feature. And if that were broken with Gutenberg, so there must be something else going on. If it were broken with just the plugin in Gutenberg, then a lot of other people had the other problems too, and me too. Yeah. So I think there's something else there, and we need to probably take it off this chat and just get on a call together and figure that out. Okay. So. Okay. All right. So, all right, but I have a few secrets to just using the Gutenberg for, and one of them is, oh, I have my notes on the other computer. Pretty stupid. Okay, let's look at this. So, I don't know if you saw my tweet about the Birgit secret Gutenberg tips. If you go to my profile, you see 1, 2, 4 tips. So the first one is the concept line as a command line. So if I want to do, I have here a demo post, yeah, and it just as a headline and a paragraph, and I'm in the paragraph block, and I'm just gonna type a little more, and more and more. So there's no interference with the writing part through the blocks. They delayed a lot of things there in terms of showing up. So the next line could be, I just want to do another paragraph. Or the next line could be, I wanted to do a header. So 2 hashes and a space makes this a headline. And that's a heading 2. Oops, 2. If I do hash, 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 space, this is a. So that's some shortcut. Also, what you could do is, oops, I'm gonna get myself another paragraph, so you not think I'm gonna cheating here. And yeah, so and another line, and I can do 1 dot space is the ordered list. And then I could do a dash, and that's my bulleted. So these are a few shortcuts, all coming off the new line. You can start a new paragraph. And that introduces also the slash command, slash, oops. So I go next line, /image, and I don't have to hunt for any block or inserter things. Yeah, so that's one secret I have for you. And it's, what else? Well, you can start a quote. Yeah, so if we go up here, next line, a bracket, space, and it starts a quote. This is my quote. There are plenty of other keyboard shortcuts in there. When you go to your settings up here and you see the keyboard shortcuts, the list is quite long. And for the text formatting, those are pretty well understood across multiple tools. One of them is actually, I think it's Control on Windows. It's Command on the Mac. K is you can convert a selected text into a link. Yeah. So if I would go into my quote on K, I can then put the link in there. Or here, highlighted, Command K, I get the link. So I don't, there's a lot of, you can you speed up your content creation with these keywords quite extensively. So if you want to just look up the keyword, it's Control Option H, I thought. All right, so there is a keyword to get the keyboard shortcuts, a keyboard shortcut to get the keyboard shortcuts. Say that fast in an echo. All right. So, what do you think? Does that help? What do you think? Oh, you didn't see this. Sorry. Sorry. And when I share my screen, I can't see your thing. So I'll do it again. And that's easy. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So, that's my screen. Here it is. So I was going through these shortcuts. So I was, well, I'm gonna highlight the whole thing and have some options. And so I delete them, all of them. And I'll delete that image as well. Okay. So what I was saying that in a paragraph, the next line is either another paragraph where you can start writing again or continue writing, or you can start with a heading. You do ##, and that's your heading too. Or you can do ##, space, and that's a heading 3. Another one is, let's do it a little further up so we are not bumping up against the screen edge there. So you can do a next line, bracket, space, this is my quote. Oops, quote. And I'm not gonna, that's one of the quotes, you'll never get out of the quote again. So, I will note this for the team. Another one is you can start with one dot space, you start your numbered list. And another, then 2 spaces you get out of it again, and then you can start a bulleted list with dash space, and that's your bulleted list with another item. Oops. Yeah, don't see me typing on screen. Right. And you can also the slash command. So you have one can slash image and then upload the image. You can of course do a drag and drop. Or you can say, okay, if I do this and grab the URL here, I say, okay, the next one, I want to put the Twitter thing here and then paste them and then got it in here. So it's, I like it very much, especially these keywords are going to speed up your content creation. You can look them up. There are keyword shortcuts here. It's the full list. And one of them is how to get this to show without having to. So there is a keyword shortcut, Control Option H, and you look this up on your Windows computer. I just found it, so I find it really cool. Another shortcut that I really like very much, especially here, is for the link. So if I highlight this and do Control K or Command K, I can just type in the link for it. Yeah. So that speeds up that part as well. As I said, you can go here and see keyboard shortcuts. So let me go back and scroll back. So now you were able to see, right? Did you see my screen now? Okay. So had you discovered the shortcuts before? So, okay, so no further questions about that. Okay, so I think it would be helpful to start out with the shortcuts if you used them before as well. Another tool is so for a few people, when you go by this and that, and you have the toolbar, it's called the block toolbar, where you can change the block type or do different things with it. You know, where in the numbered list you have the indent and reverse indent. For a lot of people, that's a little disconcerting. What you can do, and what has been in Gutenberg for a while now, that is, you can have a unified toolbar on top of a screen, and when you again go from block to block, it's not overlapping to the previous content there. So a lot of people found that helpful. And of course, you saw that every time you have a block selected, you get on the sidebar additional parameters, properties, things to tweak. Like a paragraph, you could actually do some color setting for background and text color. You can actually resize things. So if you want text to stand out and you don't want to use a header or heading, or the other way around, if you want a larger text in there, and you wanted to change the colors, you can't use a heading because that's only available for paragraphs. But here's a slider to go a little higher. Can select the color, and you will get a little warning here that you don't have enough contrast on your colors. So you can kind of change that. So that's much better, right? Okay. So that's definitely a nice thing to do. I really like these shoutouts in between. All right. So that's a fixed toolbar on top. That's actually what I got a little distracted there. So another secret was that if you share code, you can use the backticks to have code formatting. And we have the fixed toolbar, yes. And so for some people, the next one is editor windows is too small. So for some people, the white space around it, especially when you then switch off the sidebar, it's a little disconcerting, and they would like to have it a little larger. There is a recipe here how to do this without code, actually. You need to install the add admin CSS to your site and then copy paste this code snippet here into that settings window. So we go here, I have the plugin installed, I think. Yes, I activate it. And then I can go to the settings, use that snippet here, and add it here under admin CSS. Have copied, so too much. So this would make the maximum width to 1024 pixels. Save the changes. And then when I go back to my editor, oops, doesn't do it. Well, let me see about it. We always like it when that happens, right? So it saved it, okay. And then maybe we need to change. Did I try this with a different theme? Let me do this one. I do that. Nope. What about a new one? So I guess I need to review that little secret. It didn't work with this 2017, and nor did it with the 2016 thing. And the last secret tip that I shared was that a few site owners don't API to be enabled, and that stifles any Gutenberg usage because it uses the core function REST API. And there is an Otto, he's a support team, found that you can use that plugin disable REST API and configure it that it only does it for the user that's not logged in. So if you as an admin or an editor or an author log in, you will, the REST API will be enabled and you will be able to use the Gutenberg. So you might run into that. All right. So this is all my secrets at the end. And I'm looking at the questions again. Yes, Virginia, when you use the B and the I in the toolbar, that's for bold and italics. And I think that's the question, if it's bold or italics or strong and EM. Let me see. Oh, well, we can look at that. So I don't even know. So if I do a little bold here, or I do a little in italics, and then let's look. Yep, this is strong and EM. That was an easy one. Thank you. The site tags. Oh, you mean footnotes? Something like that? Yeah, I'm not yeah, I would say yes. But you could also, what you could do is do them by hand in a paragraph HTML, and then put it in a reusable. No, your reusable block would be fine, but your content changes. So you probably want to wait till the templates come, and then you can create those yourself. Or start programming it. Blogs that are out there, blog suites that are out there, that's already in there. There are quite a few programmers that take requests. So I will contact one of them and ask him if they, how you would like to, that you would like the citing titles, like in a wiki or something like that. Do you have an example that's publicly available, Virginia? And oh, I don't think you can post links. Okay, but send me an email or tweet at me. Yeah. Okay. So, but we were talking about. I will look after the show to look at that and figure that out. Yeah. But talking about reusable block, that's a really cool feature. So I can. So this is my shout out. Yeah. It could also be something like /B, but like my call to action. So I always want to go donate now. Yeah, I work with quite a few nonprofits, so that is certainly a call to action that, yeah, they use over and over again. And big tech project, oops, org/donate. Oh, let's see if that works. So that's a button, and when we saved it, we can publish this. View the post. So we have here the button. When I click on it, it goes to my donate now button, no problem. So if I want to use that over and over again, I can make it a reusable button. So I'll go there and then use the block menu, add to reusable blocks. And this is donate now, and I do NPTP, so I know it's in NPTP projects, so I save that. So now I can add this to any page or post in the future. So go to, yeah. So block updated, post updated. So I can go to add a new post and so I can do a landing page and have some copy there. I can't type, you know, that's for my Finnish cousin. Then I say, okay. And slash donate also brings me the reusable button, reusable blocks. And that's it. Yeah, I don't have to hunt around for what's the URL. I don't need to do anything like that. So that's pretty good, but yeah, that's a little, I don't like it. So what I do is, I want to change the color of it. I like blue, right? Or purple, more like, then publish that, save that, and then publish it. I don't need to publish it to make that effect, but now, do I have now a black one and a purple one? Or is that, change that too? And it changed it too. So even if you had it already used 100 times on your post or on your site, yeah, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you need to change the link, the URL of your donate page that has changed. You do it in one of them, and then it propagates through all the other instances of this reusable block. That's cool. All right. Yes, that's definitely a few reusable blocks that you could do. It's not only the donation part, it's also every Florida charity has to put on their donation page a little blurb about the Consumer Protection Agency. And yeah, you don't want to have to search for it all the time. Yeah, so that's pretty good too. Yeah. So I'm looking at the question again, and I see Carol's questions about, is there any way to display a PDF better? PDF is just, yeah, it's very, it's still horrible. I think there's no really good way to display PDFs on a website that does PDFs. So yeah, Lisa, I know that the images and the galleries, they're still a little not as sophisticated as they could be. And they're working on it, especially on the gallery with the caption. And I assume, but that's probably not a safe assumption, who has time, that did you actually catalog those problems and created issues on the repository? All right. There. So the next section would be what's new in 3.8. which came out about 2 days ago. And I just wanted to point out so I did the unifying toolbar, I think. I thought I did. What's happening? Let me, so I need to switch off that settings from the admin menu. No, I need to deactivate it. Okay, so that's interesting. So the unified toolbar only appears when you're in a block. Okay, we got that. And then there are 2 more modes. You can do the spotlight mode and the full screen mode. And what that does is you can put in, this is another post. And then you have the spotlight mode. I know it's terrible. So, and then I'll do it again. So what you see is that except for the current paragraph, everything else is kind of gray out, and you only see what you're writing on right in front of you. There have been a few complaints that the block paradigm kind of get into the way of a normal writing flow. So this is one of the 2 ways you can customize your workspace. That a lot of the menu disappears, as well as all the rest of it does not have the same importance on your screen. Yeah. So, another thing is that you could now do a lot more better drag and drop if you need to swap out some of that and say, oh yeah, I want this one right on top of it. Yeah. Oh no, I want it right here, in the middle of things. So I grab it up and put it here. And then what you also could do is drag and drop an audio file, yes, and place them here. And then you get a little menu, oops, autoplay and loop, and you can preload metadata. So do that. If you, and they did a few more, how do I say it? Guardrails, so you're not able to upload executable files or 0-byte files or files that are too large. Yeah, so they put those guardrails in as well in 3.8. And they changed a little bit how they release things. And with 3.8, so up until 3.7, the Gutenberg team finished a new version and uploaded it to the plugin repository. There were a few tests, of course, that the team made, but it was not a broad test, and especially not in a conjunction with other plugins. And in 3.7, when that was released, there was a bug in Yoast SEO that didn't come to pass until 3.7 was released. So Yoast had to, the team Yoast had to really scramble over the weekend to release a new version on Monday to fix that, because Gutenberg wouldn't show when Yoast SEO plugin was visible. And since then, they say, okay, we release we built a release candidate and let it sit there for a week. So whoever needs to double check their plugins or their theme or whatever they want to do. And then a week later, it came out. So 3.8 release candidate was published a week ago and just released this week to the plugin repository. Yesterday, 3.9 release candidate came out, and it will be released to the repository in about a week's time, depending on the things. Yeah. So yeah, we all this all it's all a learning experience, and of course, up until a certain time, until the 4.9.8, where the Gutenberg prompt was in the dashboard, only 10,000 sites were using Gutenberg. And after that, that's now about 5 weeks. Now over 300,000 sites are using Gutenberg. So it definitely makes a splash when something is not working. Okay, I'm having time for more questions. Yeah, no, Lisa, it's not you just having the trouble with images and gallery. I think there is a whole set of tickets in the support forum. GitHub, yeah. So question from Anne. Once you activate Gutenberg, can you simply disable it? And do you have to install the other plugin, Disable Gutenberg? So when you enable it, I'm going to show you this. When you go to your all post things and you hover over, you get here the classic editor, and it will be, you get a little warning, of course, yeah, continue with classic editor, and you can go and work with that. You can also do here in the post new, not up here, but in this one, there's a drop down where you can say, oh, I just want to go back to the classic editor for this because I need something get done. Yeah. So you can switch back and forth on the plugin. Yeah. You need to be a little bit more conscious, and most themes, yeah, when I go on the front page and use this edit button, it will get me into Gutenberg. Yeah, and that, so you can juggle it back and forth. You don't need another plugin for that. I'm not sure if that answers your question, so Anne. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, Lisa, we all hope all the Gutenberg 1700 Gutenberg issues get resolved. Yes, there is a caveat that when you use Gutenberg and then switch back to classic editor, you will run into trouble, especially when you do specialized or customized blocks to make them visible in the classic editor. Definitely true. Yeah, so it's that switch back and forth. Yeah, if you're not sure, use a classic editor. You can always convert to a Gutenberg. Gutenberg blocks. Gutenblocks is so much easier. So when we look at the home here, the home page, or what it is, I'll go there. How do you do this? So when you're on this is a classic block. Everything that comes was created pre-Gutenberg, and you pull it into a new post and open it with Gutenberg, you will have this. This is a classic block. Yeah, it has all the different things that you need or that you know from your classic editor. So if you have a plugin that customized your buttons up here, see this, you will be able to open it here and or use the buttons when you use a classic block. So if you do classic, you get the same toolbar. Yeah, so that's another way to ease into the transition. And here you can also then convert it to blocks. Yeah, that actually disappeared. Okay, so convert it to block. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that there was something that you can only use one classic block per post, which makes sense because you in the classic editor you only had one box there. But on the other hand, yeah. So we're coming a little bit. We have a few more minutes. Um, are there any questions? And I know, Gordon, we need to follow back with you, and I follow up with Virginia as well about the citing titles. Um, so, so one of a few quirks, just so you're not surprised. So posts are not locked in Gutenberg. If you are not alone working on a site and as editor and other people are posting as well, you are able to overwrite somebody's work. Just keep in mind, the one who presses save last wins. Okay. So that's one. WooCommerce has changed a little bit how they want to handle the transition to Gutenberg. If you create products in WooCommerce, it will use the classic editor, but they have for put in product into your blog. So there's a nice combination there. There's also Puttel Press has some very nice WooCommerce blogs, and some of them are on the Gutenberg Times. Yeah. Another gotcha is Grammarly. Whoever uses that, you will have some trouble with Gutenberg. It's an intermittency, and I just see Virginia's question. Does it matter what theme you currently use when you transition? As a Gutenberg should work with your theme, not entirely. So there is two new features for images that you can have a wider display as well as a full width display. If the theme doesn't enable that, you're just not able to use it, but everything else works. So on Gutenberg, was it on Gutenberg Times? There is, I put a blog post together on how you test your theme on a staging area. And I'm going to grab that, hang on. I'll put it in I'm just looking for it. Nope. So that's on how you create a copy. And for those of you who are a little hesitant, Pantheon has a wonderful feature to create a copy of your website. And it sounds a little bit daunting, but I have some instructions that I tested with site owners that are not techies, and they were able to create a copy relatively easily. So let me kind of look at that here. And that's the link. It's on the Gutenberg Times. So, okay. How about autosave? So, Carol, autosave works every 15 seconds. I'm not sure if that answers your questions. There are some things that sometimes when autosave kind of blocks your publish button, just because it's turned off during autosave, but that's just a little hiccup. I'm very happy with the autosave. What makes it a little bit harder to get back to your post is when you have one post open on two computers, and then you work on one, and then you come back, and of course that it doesn't work anymore. So you kind of just need to reload the new post. Yeah. So okay. So we are doing these Gutenberg Live Q&As. Our revisions created as normal. Yes, yeah, there was at the beginning a little quirk there where it created dozens of revisions for every block, but they figured that out, how to contain that, and it works. You definitely should have revisions enabled when you do it on your live site, especially if you don't know if Gutenberg really works on your website, because then you can go back to the classic edit and grab that original content if it wasn't displaying right in Gutenberg. Okay, so but we're coming to an end, and I wanted to make sure that you know on September 28th, there will be another Q&A, and I probably have some news for you from the next versions, like 3.9 comes out next week, and maybe even a 4.0. So this was fun. I hope you got something out of it. Stop by at the gutenbergtimes.com, sign up for the newsletter, or send me email to pauli@gutenbergtimes.com. You can always follow me on Twitter at BPH. And yeah. So for today, I need to say goodbye. I'm not in California. I'm just at the co-working space, just in case you were wondering. It's been great fun. Thank you so much for joining me. And take care. All right. Bye.